Hey, what's good? Let's talk about something real today, something that might hit a little too close to home. You ever feel like being the nice guy, the friendly one, is secretly costing you more than you realize? Like you're out there smiling, nodding, saying yes to everyone, thinking it's making you a better person, more likable, more human. But deep down, there's this nagging feeling like you're giving away pieces of yourself every time you do it. I'm here to break it down for you, because the truth is, the world doesn't always reward kindness. Sometimes it just takes advantage of it. And if you've ever felt drained after a conversation or invisible in a room full of people, this is for you. Let's start with a hard truth. Being friendly, always agreeing, always laughing at the lame jokes, it's not building the connections you think it is. It's actually leaking something way more valuable, your power. Think about it. Every time you nod when you don't agree, every time you say sure when you mean no way, you're chipping away at who you are. It's subtle at first. Maybe you feel a little off after a chat, like you left something behind. Or you get home from a party, and there's this weird emptiness in your chest, even though you were surrounded by people. That's not just you being tired. That's you realizing nobody in that room really saw you. They liked you, sure, but they didn't know you. And that's the trap. You've been confusing being liked with being seen. Here's the thing, the more you bend to fit in, the more invisible you become. You shrink yourself, adjust your vibe, keep the peace, and before you know it, you're not even sure who you are anymore. That's not kindness. That's self-erasure. And the worst part? People around you won't stop it. They'll encourage it. They'll love how easy you make things for them. Your politeness, your softness, it's like a doormat they can step on to get what they want. Why? Because friendly people are easier to control. They don't push back. They don't say no. They just smile and go along with it. Now, let's talk about someone who saw through this centuries ago, Machiavelli. Yeah, the guy from way back. He wasn't about being cruel. He was about being clear. He said the appearance of being good is often more useful than actually being good. In today's world, your friendliness? It's like a costume you've worn so long it feels like your skin. But here's the question that might sting a little. Are you being kind? Or are you being used? If that makes you pause, good. That means something inside you is waking up, something sharp, something real, something the world hoped you'd keep buried. We've all been taught that being sociable is a good thing, right? Smile more, be friendly, fit in. It's supposed to make you strong, likable, a good person. But Machiavelli? He'd laugh at that. To him, sociability wasn't about being good. It was a tool, a way to navigate power. The second you forget that, you become the kind of person the world loves. Predictable, agreeable, easy to shape. He wasn't saying be a jerk. He was saying be smart. People don't follow kindness. They follow signals, images, performances. And friendliness? It's one of the most profitable performances out there. Why? Because it makes you easy to manage. A friendly employee doesn't argue. A friendly friend doesn't call out bad behavior. A friendly person apologizes before they even finish speaking. And you wonder why you feel so drained. Here's where it gets real. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few know who you really are." In other words, people aren't connecting with your soul. They're connecting with the version of you that's easy to deal with. If you're always friendly, always warm, always polite, they'll love you. But only as long as you keep playing that role. That love? It's not respect. It's convenience. And convenience is disposable. The moment you stop being useful, they'll move on. So you've got a choice to make. Do you keep being the person everyone finds easy to like? Or do you start being the person who's true to themselves, even if it means being misunderstood? I know it's a tough call, because being friendly feels safe. It's what you've been trained to do. From the time you were a kid, you were told to be polite, to avoid conflict, to make people comfortable. Say yes to the family friend who makes you uneasy. Laugh at the teacher's bad joke. Don't question the rules. That training doesn't just disappear when you grow up. It follows you into your job, your relationships, your whole life. You nod in meetings you don't agree with. You hold your tongue to keep the peace at home. You water down your opinions online so you don't get canceled. That's not you being kind. That's you being obedient. And here's the kicker. People who want to use you, they can spot that obedience from a mile away. They don't go after the loud ones or the stubborn ones. They go after the ones who say it's fine when it's not. The ones who over-explain, over-apologize, overextend. Why? Because they know you won't fight back. You're too scared of being rude, too worried about being called difficult, too afraid of losing your spot in the group. So they test you little by little. A small favor here, a guilt trip there. They push your boundaries not all at once, but slowly until your time, your energy, your self-respect don't feel like yours anymore. And the worst part? You'll defend them. You'll tell yourself they didn't mean it, that you're just helping out, that it's what good people do. But deep down, you're not being kind. You're being harvested. Let's pause there for a second. That feeling you get when you say yes but mean no? That's not generosity. That's fear dressed up as kindness. And it's why you're always the one they call when they need something. You've been trained to avoid conflict at all costs, to put other people's comfort above your own truth. Somewhere along the line, you learned that being rejected feels like the end of the world. So you perform. You agree. You change yourself to fit the moment. And the manipulators, they love that. They know you're not going to say no. They know you'll keep smiling, keep helping, keep being the nice one. But nice doesn't mean good. Nice means controllable. And that's why you're exhausted. So here's my challenge to you. Stop being so nice, just for a week. Don't reply to every text right away. Don't laugh if it's not funny. Don't say yes just to avoid an awkward moment. Watch what happens. You'll see it quick. The group chat might get quiet. People might act weird, like you've broken some unspoken rule. They'll say things like, "You okay? You seem different." But here's the truth. They don't miss you. They miss the version of you that made their lives easier. The one who smoothed things over, who filled the silence, who never made them think too hard about themselves. That's when you'll start to see it. Your friendliness wasn't building bridges. It was building a cage. And it's time to step out. Picture this. You're at a party, right? You're smiling, laughing at stories you've heard a million times, making sure everyone feels comfortable. You're the glue, the one keeping the vibe light. But when you get home, something hits you. It's not just tiredness. It's this hollow feeling, like you were there but not really there. You were surrounded by people but nobody actually saw you. That's the lie we've all bought into, that being included means you're understood, that being in the room means you belong. But deep down, you know it's not true. What you thought was connection was really just you playing a part, bending yourself to fit what the moment needed. That's not belonging. That's performing. Here's the deal. When you're always the friendly one, you're not part of the group, you're a reflection of it. You're echoing what keeps everyone happy, what keeps the peace. You laugh when they laugh, nod when they talk, avoid saying anything that might make waves. And for a while, it feels good. You're included, you're liked, you're safe. But that safety comes at a price. You're not showing up as you, you're showing up as the version of you they're comfortable with. That's why you feel so empty afterward. You've been betraying yourself little by little just to stay in the circle. And the truth? They don't like you for you. They like you for how well you blend in. Let's go back to Machiavelli for a second. He was all about seeing through the illusions we live by. He said people don't connect with who you really are, they connect with what you seem to be. And if you're always friendly, always easygoing, that's the version of you they know. Not the real you with your sharp edges, your real thoughts, your actual opinions. They know the costume you wear, the one that says, "I'm safe, I'm agreeable, I won't challenge you." And they love that costume. But the moment you take it off, the moment you stop performing, they get uncomfortable. Why? Because you're breaking the deal they didn't even know they made with you. You stay easy, and they stay happy. You've probably felt it before. That moment when you say something real, something that doesn't fit the script, and the room goes quiet. Maybe you disagree with the group's vibe, or you don't laugh at the joke everyone else is laughing at. Suddenly, people are looking at you like you're a stranger. They might not say it, but you can feel it. Whoa, what's up with you? That's not you being rude. That's you being real. And real is scary to people who are used to your performance. They like the version of you that didn't make them think too hard, that didn't ask them to face anything uncomfortable. When you stop playing that role, they don't know what to do with you anymore. Here's where it gets tricky. You've been taught that being alone is the worst thing that can happen. From the time you were a kid, you learned that fitting in is everything. Be nice to the weird uncle, even if he makes you uncomfortable. Smile at the teacher, even if you think the rule is dumb. Don't rock the boat, don't stand out, don't be the one who makes things awkward. That lesson stuck with you. Now you're an adult and you're still doing it. You're in a meeting, nodding along to a plan you know won't work. You're in a group chat typing haha when you're not even smiling. You're saying it's all good when it's definitely not. Why? Because somewhere deep down, you believe that being liked is the same as being safe. But here's the truth. Being liked doesn't protect you. It just makes you useful. And useful things get used. People who want to take advantage of you, they don't go for the ones who say no, who push back, who set boundaries. They go for the ones who can't say no without feeling guilty, who apologize for having an opinion, who stay quiet to avoid conflict. They know you're scared of being called difficult, of being left out, of losing your spot. So they push little by little. A small favor here, an extra task there. A late night call you feel like you can't ignore. They don't even have to try hard, because you're already trained to say yes. And you know what's wild? You'll defend them. You'll tell yourself it's not a big deal, that you're just being helpful, that this is what friends do, what good people do. But that's not what's happening. You're not choosing to help. You're afraid to say no. That's not kindness, it's fear. And it's why you're always the one they call when they need something. You're the reliable one, the one who won't make it weird, the one who'll pick up the slack. But being reliable doesn't mean being respected. It means being expected to keep giving, keep smiling, keep performing. Let's talk about what happens when you stop. Imagine this, you don't reply to that text right away. You don't laugh at the bad joke. You say no to the favor without explaining yourself. The world doesn't end, but it feels like it might. Your chest gets tight, your brain starts overthinking, wondering if you've messed up, if they're mad, if you've lost your place. That's your conditioning kicking in, telling you that saying no is dangerous, that being anything less than friendly is a risk. But keep going. Push through that feeling. Because something else happens too. The room shifts. People notice. Not because you're being loud or mean, but because you're being different. You're not playing the part anymore. And that's when you start to see who's who. The ones who relied on your yes, they'll get weird. They'll call you distant, say you've changed, ask if you're okay. But they don't miss you, they miss how easy you made things. The ones who actually care about you, they'll stick around, even when you're not bending over backward for them. That's the difference between being liked and being seen. And it's a difference you only discover when you stop performing, when you stop being the friendly one and start being the real one. So what's the move? Start small. Say no to one thing this week. Don't explain it, don't soften it, just let it stand. Notice how it feels. Notice who gets uncomfortable. That's where the truth lives. In the moments when you stop making everyone else's life easy and start claiming your own. It's not about being cold or cutting people off. It's about realizing your energy, your time, your voice, they're worth something. And you don't have to give them away just to keep the peace. Let's set the scene. You're in a room full of people, maybe it's a friend group, a work meeting, a family thing. You're doing your thing. Laughing on cue, agreeing when you don't really agree, keeping the vibe smooth. Everyone's happy, and you're the one making it happen. You're the one filling the awkward silences, saying yes to the extra work, being the glue that holds it all together. For a moment, it feels good, like you're part of something. But then you get home and there's this ache. Not loneliness, but something worse, like you left yourself behind in that room. That's the cost of always being the friendly one. You're not connecting, you're performing. And every performance chips away at who you really are. Think about it. When you're always the one smoothing things over, you're not showing up as you. You're showing up as what they need you to be. You're the one who doesn't argue, doesn't disagree, doesn't make anyone uncomfortable. And yeah, they love that. They love how easy you make their lives. But what they're not telling you is that they're not seeing you. They're seeing the version of you that fits their script, the one that doesn't challenge them or make them think too hard. And the more you play that role, the more you disappear. You're not building relationships, you're building a cage, one smile at a time. Here's where it gets real. You've been taught to think that being friendly is the same as being good. From the time you were little, you were told to be polite, to not make a scene, to keep everyone happy. Maybe it was your parents telling you to hug that relative you didn't like. Maybe it was a teacher rewarding you for staying quiet instead of asking questions. Maybe it was just growing up in a world that says fitting in is more important than standing out. That training doesn't just vanish. It's still there, in the way you bite your tongue at work, in the way you say no worries when you're actually annoyed, in the way you keep your real thoughts locked up because you're scared of being called difficult. And that's exactly what makes you a target. People who want to use you, they don't pick the ones who push back or set boundaries. They pick the ones who say yes too easily, who apologize too quickly, who worry about being liked more than being respected. They know you're afraid of conflict, afraid of being left out, afraid of not being needed. So they lean on that. They ask for just a little more and then a little more after that. A favor here, a late night call there, a task you didn't sign up for. They don't even have to push hard, because you've already been trained to give in. And you do it thinking it's what makes you valuable. But it's not. It's what makes you useful. Let's talk about Machiavelli again, because he saw this coming. He wasn't about being heartless. He was about being clear. He said people don't care about your actual goodness. They care about what you seem to be. And if you seem friendly, warm, always available, they'll eat that up. Not because they respect you, but because it's convenient. A friendly person doesn't question authority. A friendly person doesn't say no to the extra shift. A friendly person doesn't call out bad behavior, even when it's hurting them. That's why the world loves friendly people. Not because they're good, but because they're easy to manage. And every time you play that part, you're giving away a little more of your power. Here's the thing that might sting: you're not being kind. You're being obedient. There's a difference. Kindness comes from strength, from choosing to give because it aligns with who you are. Obedience comes from fear, from thinking you have to give to be accepted. And you've been conditioned to think that way. From the time you were a kid, you were taught that being liked is the goal. Be nice, be quiet, don't make trouble. That's why you feel that tightness in your chest when you think about saying no. That's why you over-explain every time you try to set a boundary. You've been trained to think rejection is the worst thing that can happen. But it's not. The worst thing is losing yourself to keep everyone else happy. So what happens when you stop? When you stop being the one who always says yes, who always laughs, who always makes it easy. It's not pretty at first. People notice, and not in a good way. They'll say you're acting weird, that you're not yourself, that you're being cold. But here's the truth. They don't miss you. They miss the version of you that made their lives easier. The one who didn't make them think, didn't make them uncomfortable, didn't challenge their little world. When you stop performing, you're breaking an unspoken deal, one where you were supposed to stay predictable, stay safe, stay useful. And that makes people nervous. But that's also where the magic happens. When you stop being so friendly, you start being real. You start saying what you actually think, even if it's messy. You start saying no, even if it feels awkward. You start showing up as you, not as the version they expect. And yeah, some people won't like it. Some people will pull away. Some will even get mad. But the ones who stay, they're the ones who see you, not just the role you've been playing. And more importantly, you start to see yourself. That hollow feeling, that ache you get after giving too much, it starts to fade. Because you're not leaking your power anymore. You're claiming it. So here's what I want you to try. Just for a few days, stop being so quick to please. Don't answer every message right away. Don't laugh if it's not funny. Don't say yes just to avoid a weird moment. Watch how it feels. It's going to be uncomfortable, maybe even scary. Your brain's going to scream that you're messing it all up, that people won't like you anymore. But keep going. Because that discomfort is the sound of you breaking free. It's the sound of you remembering that your time, your energy, your voice, they're yours. And they're worth more than a room full of people who only like you when you're easy. You know that feeling when you're in a group, doing your usual thing, laughing, agreeing, keeping things light, and it feels like you're part of something? But then you get this quiet moment later, maybe when you're alone, and you realize nobody in that group really knows you. They know the version of you that's easy to deal with, the one who doesn't stir things up or say anything too real. That's not connection. That's you playing a role, one you've been taught to play since you were a kid. And the more you play it, the more you lose touch with who you actually are. It's like you're giving away pieces of yourself just to keep the room happy. Here's the truth. The world loves that version of you. The one who's always available, always polite, always ready to help. Why? Because it's convenient. A friendly person doesn't question things. They don't push back when something's off. They don't make anyone uncomfortable. That's why people lean on you, why they keep asking for more, why they expect you to always be there. But what they're not telling you is that they're not seeing you. They're seeing what you do for them. And the moment you stop doing it, the moment you stop being that easy, predictable person, things get real interesting. Let's talk about what happens when you pull back. Say you decide to stop jumping in with a quick sure every time someone asks for something. Maybe you don't reply to that text right away, or you say no to a favor without a big explanation. At first, it feels wrong, like you're breaking some kind of rule. Your heart might race a little, your brain might start whispering that you're gonna lose friends, that people won't like you anymore. That's your conditioning talking, the part of you that's been trained to think being liked is the most important thing. But keep going, because something else starts to happen too. The dynamic shifts. People notice you in a new way, not because you're being loud or mean, but because you're being different. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Some people aren't gonna like it. They'll say you're acting weird, that you're being distant, that you've changed. But let's be real. They don't miss you. They miss the version of you that made their lives easier, the one who filled the gaps, who smoothed over the tension, who never made them think too hard. When you stop being that person, you're breaking an unspoken agreement. You were supposed to stay friendly, stay available, stay safe. And when you don't, it throws them off. They might get quiet, they might pull away, they might even get mad. But that's not about you. It's about them losing the control they didn't even realize they had. This is where Machiavelli comes in again. He wasn't about being cruel. He was about seeing things clearly. He said people don't care about who you really are, they care about what you seem to be. And when you're always friendly, you're giving them a version of you that's easy to handle. It's like you're wearing a costume, one that says, I'm here to make you comfortable. But the second you take that costume off, the second you start saying what you think or setting boundaries, people have to deal with the real you. And that's scary for them because the real you isn't predictable. The real you has edges, opinions, limits. The real you might say no. Here's what nobody tells you. That discomfort, that tension when you stop being so nice, it's a sign you're doing something right. You're not breaking relationships, you're testing them. The people who stick around when you stop performing, those are the ones who see you. The ones who get upset, who call you cold or selfish, they were never here for you in the first place. They were here for what you gave them. And that's a hard pill to swallow because it means letting go of some connections. But those connections, they were never real. They were built on you shrinking yourself, on you giving up your truth to keep them happy. So what's the way forward? It's not about becoming someone who's mean or closed off. It's about becoming someone who's clear. Someone who knows their worth and doesn't give it away just to avoid an awkward moment. Start small. Try saying no to something little, like a favor you don't have time for. Don't explain it, don't soften it, just let it stand. Notice how it feels. It's going to be weird at first, maybe even scary. But it's also going to feel like freedom, like you're taking back something that's yours. Then try it again. Maybe you don't laugh at the joke that's not funny. Maybe you speak up when you disagree, even if your voice shakes. Each time you do, you're rebuilding something inside you, something that got buried under all that friendliness. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop being so easy, you start attracting different kinds of people. Not the ones who want you to stay small, but the ones who respect your boundaries, who want to know the real you. You start to feel less like a doormat and more like someone who belongs, not because you're useful, but because you're you. That's what Machiavelli was getting at. Not that you should manipulate people, but that you should be smart about how you show up. Don't let the world turn your kindness into a tool for their convenience. Let it be something you choose, something that comes from strength, not fear. So try this for a week. Stop being the one who always says yes. Stop filling the silences. Stop smiling when you don't mean it. Watch what happens. Some people will drift away, and that's okay, they were never really with you. Others will lean in, curious, maybe even relieved to see the real you. And most importantly, you'll start to feel different. That hollow ache, that feeling of being invisible, it starts to fade. Because you're not performing anymore. You're showing up. And that's where your power lies, not in being liked, but in being real. You've probably felt it before. That moment when you realize you've been giving too much, saying yes too often, keeping the peace at your own expense. Maybe it's after a long day of playing the part, laughing at things that aren't funny, agreeing when you don't agree. You get home, and there's this quiet weight in your chest, like you left something behind. That's not just exhaustion. That's you realizing you've been trading your truth for approval, your voice for a seat at the table. And the table is not even that great. The people there, they don't really know you. They know the version of you that's easy to deal with, the one that doesn't make them think too hard or feel too much. Here's the thing, you weren't born to be that person. You weren't born to shrink yourself, to soften your edges, to make everyone else comfortable. You were taught to do that. From the time you were a kid, you were told to be polite, to avoid conflict, to keep things light. Be nice to the grown-ups, even if they make you uneasy. Stay quiet in class, even if you have questions. Fit in, don't stand out, don't be the one who makes things messy. That training stuck with you, and now it's in the way you nod at work, the way you hold back your real thoughts, the way you say it's fine when it's not. That's not kindness. That's obedience, and it's been running your life. But you can change that. You can unlearn it. And it starts with one simple shift. Stop chasing being liked and start chasing being real. That doesn't mean you become cold or cut people off. It means you start showing up as you, with your boundaries, your opinions, your limits. It means you stop saying yes just to avoid an awkward moment. It means you stop laughing when you don't mean it. It means you let your silence speak when you don't have anything to say. And yeah, it's gonna feel weird at first. Your brain's gonna tell you you're messing it up, that people will pull away, that you'll end up alone. But that's just the old programming talking. Keep going. Let's bring Machiavelli back one last time because he got it. He wasn't about being cruel, he was about being clear. He said the world doesn't care about your actual goodness. It cares about what you seem to be. And when you're always friendly, always available, always easy, you're giving people a version of you that's useful to them. But when you stop, when you start setting boundaries and speaking your truth, you become something else. Unshakable. Not because you're loud or aggressive, but because you're clear. You're not performing anymore. You're not bending to fit their script. And that's when people start to respect you, not just like you. Here's what happens when you make that shift. The room changes. People who relied on your yes, they'll get uncomfortable. They'll call you distant, say you're acting different, maybe even try to guilt you back into the old role. But that's not about you, it's about them losing the version of you they could control. The ones who stick around, though, they're the ones who see you, who respect the real you, not just the convenient you. And more importantly, you start to feel different. That emptiness, that ache you've been carrying, it starts to lift. Because you're not giving yourself away anymore. You're holding onto your power, your truth, your clarity. So how do you do it? Start small. Try saying no to something this week, something you'd normally say yes to just to keep things easy. Don't explain it, don't apologize, just let it be. Notice how it feels. It might feel like you're breaking some kind of law, but that's just your old habits trying to pull you back. Then try something else. Speak up when you disagree, even if your voice shakes. Don't laugh if the joke's not funny. Let your silence sit there without filling it with chatter. Each time you do this, you're taking something back, your time, your energy, your self-respect. You're reminding yourself that you don't have to be everyone's comfort blanket to be worthy. And here's the big one. Stop being afraid of being misunderstood. That's the fear that's been driving you. The fear that if you're not liked, you're nothing. But being misunderstood isn't failure. It's freedom. It means you're no longer playing by their rules. It means you're showing up as you, not as the version they want. Some people will walk away, and that's okay. They were never here for you. They were here for what you gave them. But the ones who stay, the ones who can handle your truth, those are your people. And even if it's just you for a while, that's enough. Because when you stop being so friendly, you start being something better, yourself. This is what Machiavelli was pointing to, not manipulation but sovereignty. Not being cruel but being clear. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to have power. You just have to be the one who's not afraid to be real. That's what scares people. Not your anger, not your rebellion, but your clarity. Because clarity can't be controlled. It doesn't bend, it doesn't apologize, it doesn't perform. It just is. And when you start living from that place, you stop being someone's doormat and start being someone's mirror. So here's my final challenge to you. Stop being the nice one for a week. Don't reply to every message right away. Don't smile to fill the silence. Don't say yes just to keep the peace. Watch what happens. Some people will fade out, and that's fine, they were never really with you. Others will step closer, curious about the real you. And most importantly, you'll start to feel it. The weight lifting, the clarity growing, the sense that you're not just surviving but actually living. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be real. And when you do that, you don't just change how people see you, you change how you see yourself. That's the kind of power nobody can take away.